Welcome back to the A News Network. Today we will look at some trivia and test your skill level on what factual information is out of Canada, because this guy, Stephen Guilbeault, is not telling the truth, and Trudeau and Team Trudeau and all those guys. First one, let's go through here with coal. And don't forget to hit the notification button in the channel. That helps out a lot with the AI and the pushing of the videos. So let's go through here with the coal, for example. And I wanted to break this down. For 1 megawatt hour of emissions of energy from coal, you need 2.2 tons of coal. And the solution to that, which liberals know exists but hate something that can solve the problem now, it is LNG, liquefied natural gas. So for the same amount of energy, how many tons do you need? Emissions would come out from the same amount of energy is really the question for the business case. And Stephen Guilbeault, it always comes up, there's no business case. This is the business case right here, Stephen. You have 30 years of green energy experience, get paid $250,000. I'll tell you right now what the business case is that you can't see and you're blind to it. LNG, 0.09 tons of CO2. So it's half. The greenhouse gases would cut in half if countries used coal and switched to LNG right now. Right now. He won't do it, which is actually evil and sick why he won't do that. And the two countries, this is all the greenhouse gases in the world, the top 10 right there. Japan and Germany in green here. That's how much greenhouse gases they produce. If they cut it in half, and there's Canada at the 574, and for every person that comes in Canada, there's more greenhouse gases. So if there's 1 million people, it's going up. Even if no one's doing anything or manufacturing, it's going to go up by 1 million people, which is enormous. But going back to Japan and Germany, which have been begging Canada to give them LNG, if we cut their emissions in half, so instead of using coal, and they do use coal, if they use LNG, it would reduce, that's how much greenhouse gases it would reduce, which is nearly twice as much as what Canada produces. Now think about that. That means if we gave it to them, it would cut world greenhouse gases by double of what Canada produces. Isn't that amazing good news? But why is it always so horrible for the Liberal Party? And I know why, because they'd rather get money. They'd rather get money for this greenhouse gas and have it run forever for this carbon tax. But there's solutions out there right now that'll do it. And even China over there with the 10 million tons of greenhouse gases, it's not heating for Chinese. It's not in China, they're heating their home and surviving like in Canada, because Canada doesn't really produce much manufacturing and greenhouse gases, not much compared to China. So that 10 million is actually the stuff we buy from Canadian Tire, Dollarama, Walmart, Amazon, all that. That's the manufacturing we use. And they use coal plants too. They make 2 coal plants a week. They create 2 coal plants a week to make energy to produce the stuff we need. They would use the LNG as well. Let's look at the trivia question here. For example, what type of energy is most prevalent in Canada? Which one of those 4 do you think it is? Hydroelectricity, and it's 60%. Isn't that amazing news? Why doesn't the government, and Pierre Poilievre should do this, why don't you be proud of that? Why do they always have to piss on Canadians that we're horrible people? Why do they always do that? Because hydroelectricity is green energy. And, it's not like every country can do that. They can't do it like, I don't know, in Jamaica or in Prince Edward Island, for example. Not every province and country has hydroelectricity because they don't have water running, fresh water moving. Really is what it is. Norway, I think, does, and Finland and Sweden, those countries up there, but not everyone. So here is Ontario's mix of energy. Is that what you think it would be? And this is good news, isn't that good? Hydro, 25. And the nuclear, I think nuclear is so high because of how many people live here, and we need nuclear to power just because of the population, really is what it is. That's actually, and wind is 8%. Maybe all Tesla should just get wind power and stop using hydro if it's so bad in nuclear, because all they have to do, if everyone had a electric vehicle car, what would they do here to change this? They would just add more nuclear. So what would nuclear go to 80%? Because wind can't do it, and solar. Like, do they even think about that? Let's look at the next question here. What type of energy is most prevalent in Quebec? Hydro. And this number actually shocked me. 95%. Like, holy shit. And when Philippe Champagne, that guy, he went to Georgia and he told the guy's governor in Georgia that aluminum from Quebec is the greenest in the world. This is why, because Quebec's energy to take it out of the ground comes from hydroelectricity. And the only reason Quebec can say that is because they are, as you can see, water is everywhere. That's the only reason. And this is when I said before too, like Jamaica or whatever, Cuba or I don't know, Madagascar or whatever it is, they can't, every country is not blessed with having water moving, and this is going on for 100 years too, these water dams anyways, but not every country can do this. So Quebec can only do it because, well, they probably got oil money from Alberta to make all this stuff, but that's another question. But it's just because they are near water. Let's look at the next question here. How many layers of management are there in the average federal department? You know what the answer is? 7. And this right here is why, when crap hits the fan, there seems to be no one to blame. And I think this is almost made by design, because when crap hits the fan, you can't fire someone. You can't say what you did is wrong, because they keep blaming another department. They could blame an assistant manager, a manager, a supervisor, blah, 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 blah. It goes all the way up to the top. So there's not one person that takes the heat. And this is almost like a leftist playbook when you go, like, when the crap hits the fan, that you can't blame anyone. There's no responsibility of who does what. So you just have 7 bosses just breathing down your neck all the time. Let's look at the next question that comes up. How much did the Liberals' annual spending grow from 2015 when it was $280 million? You want to lock in your answer? $500 billion. So they doubled it. They doubled the spending. Now, do you think you've had twice as much improvement in your government services, in your garbage man pickup? Your schools are twice as more, kids are twice as smarter or more efficient? Do you think the healthcare is twice as better? Like, what is better? Passport office, the airports are more efficient? I can't think of anything. If anything, I think everything's just gotten worse. So that's actually pretty well. When Pierre comes in and says he has to cut the budget, this is where Trudeau goes, how dare you? Well, what do you want to do? Is this supposed to be $1 trillion then at one point? Like, I don't get it. How far is it supposed to go? Let's look at the next question. What percentage of federal bureaucrats received bonuses? What do you think it is? 89%. That is enormous. So every government worker is doing a super duper job. And like I said too before, with the services, do you think they've improved? No. Let's look at the private sector here. Whoops. Let's look at the private sector here. How many do you think that is? 1/3 of that. So 30% about. So that's actually what you think should be the bell curve of where everyone should be for a whole industry, because you can't have everyone be doing super duper on there when basically, it's not at all. Let's look at the next question. There's only 2 more here left. How have mortgage rates and renters changed under Trudeau? Increased by half, stayed the same, doubled, or increased slightly? You want to lock in your answer? Doubled. He doubled it in 10 years. He doubled rent, he doubled mortgage. Everything is going up because of Justin Trudeau, which is horrible. Let's look at the next fact that you might not be aware of. The widening gap between public, private, and self-employed entrepreneur. And when they shoot numbers out of growths, I think they should always break it down between this public, private, and then part-time jobs too, and how many jobs people have per person. And I know this data is even hard to get, but if more people have part-time jobs, that's not good either if there's too many. But what do you think that low number is here? You see that one that's right around no change at all? No change at all? There, self-employed, no change. So it's actually gone down. The innovation and all that stuff, when Trudeau blabs his mouth that innovation is amazing in Canada and all this stuff and grant money is flooding in, well, there you go. It's actually done nothing. And those two lines there, you see the red and the blue, that's how they break down public and private. So public sector jobs are increasing enormously. And like I said in the other two examples, between bonuses and how much funding there are, that has to slow down. That has to stop, actually. And I don't know how they do that. They can't lay off 50% of government employees, but they got to figure something out because that's unreal. And I think sometimes Trudeau does that because he needs to have them obey. It's sort of like incentive or a bonus to say thank you for obeying me and not telling facts about me, you know? Because I think when there's a whistleblower that says something on the corruption he has, he's pissed off. He's so pissed off that he's even like the interference. He's more pissed off that the person said something than actually information, factual, getting information that he had cheated. You know, that's really what it comes down to. Anyway, thanks for watching the A News Network, and let me know in the comments how you did with these scores, and hitting the notification button is great for the channel. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video.